Hi again, it's Be Aware Holistic Healthcare ABC series and the letter U where I'm up to. So in regards to anyone that hasn't watched the others, so this model is associated with body, mind and emotional care. And if you look after those areas in your life, then you will have as optimum care and health as you deserve. So with the body and the letter U, I'm going to talk about ultraviolet rays. So we're aware that there's different types of rays, A, B, C, and if there's any others, then please inform me in the comments. And we're aware also that they can do wonderful things for us, as in associated with helping to produce vitamins or vitamin D in the body. As well as if we have too much of certain ones, particularly around the middle of the day, they're the strongest. Those rays, they will potentiate skin cancer for those that are vulnerable. So what else is also known in science is that certain ultraviolet rays actually penetrate, believe it or not, through the skull. And so this is another reason why the association of daylight and light, not just through the eyes, but through the skull, is also valuable for the mechanisms in our brain and the different hormones that are associated with light, like melanin. And yeah, so it's a really important aspect to get outside and get fresh air, etc., which you're probably already aware of, and hopefully you're doing. So ultraviolet rays for the body, very, very important. For the mind, I've picked the word ubiquitous, which is something associated with something that's in everything or in a lot of things or needed for a lot of things. And one could also put the word in universe. Now, the ancient and Eastern philosophies, when I say ancient, all indigenous cultures, to my awareness, value the environment. And the environment isn't just our local environment. As we've discovered, things that affect our self and our local community and our states and our countries are actually affecting the planet, in particular at this point if you're watching it in 2021. So the universe is, or that which is beyond ourself, our individual physicality and our body and our mind and our emotion, is a very, very important element of our care, because what we bathe in, which is the universe that we choose, or part of wherever we are in the aspect of our universe, is very important for our health. Now, I watched a wonderful man yesterday, Professor Ian Brighthope, who's a great, he's retired now. However, as a colleague, he was a teacher of mine. I've sat with him at meals and had conversations over health at seminars and had private sitting, which was just so wonderful. He himself has just acknowledged that the environment, and in his case he mentioned who we associate with, like-minded people, are very, very important for our health, because what we bathe in is our environment as far as care goes. And when I say that, I mean we place ourselves in a situation and that will be influential to our existence. So it's important that whatever it is universally that you gravitate to in life, you want to be aware. Remember that term, be aware. Be aware of the environment that you place yourself in, because it is going to affect you on a cellular level. Ubiquitously, it will affect your cells, your tissues, your organs, your systems, your whole being, your body and your whole being. It's going to affect. How much you do of that is dependent on how much you need to be in that environment And if you're putting yourself in an environment or a situation that is not conducive to you, then make sure you're doing stuff in your life to build resilience, because the universe is vast. However, as I say, one of my mantras is, you are, as an individual, more vast than the universe you bathe in. Now have a moment to grasp that. That's a really, really powerful statement. So even though you might place a fear in quite a dominant faculty of your brain and continue to think that, you are more than that. You are more than that fear. You are a vast array of mechanisms within your being that can change and alter to inhibit or be productive in your life. Just by realizing that the more you understand who you are, how vast you are within, will contribute to the betterment of your life. And I'll just backtrack a bit, because this is important. As a stress physiologist, or having that in my master's degree, a major understanding of it. Within our brain, there's many parts, which we're all probably aware of, and there's parts that concentrate on storing fear and memory of fear, which is the amygdala. You don't have to focus too much on these words if you don't want to, if you're a layperson. The amygdala stores your fear memories. Now, it doesn't just store, it actually is in activation as well. And if you're in a fear mode, the energy or the electrical impulses that your brain is doing will focus more in that energy if you're sitting in fear with thought than it will put into the energy in round the front of your brain, or the prefrontal cortex that works with logic and rationale. So thinking logically will be hard to do if you are sitting in fear with your thoughts. Think about it. How many people right now are focusing on the fear of what an external faculty is telling them is so, when there's so many contradictions, okay? So when you step out, now how do you do that? Okay, there's a really easy technique, and our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and ancestors before us already knew this. They didn't need an RCT or a randomized controlled trial or any studies to know this. They already knew it, as with a lot of things. The term when you get angry, which is a stress emotion, a major stress emotion, or when you are in fear, the term count to 10 has absolute scientific validation, because in the brain, there is a part of the brain that it's like a pathway of events that happen to kick off the body going into a stress response. It's never about the stress, because stress is a constellation of factors. It's about how you as an individual are coping with it. And this is your universal capacity. So the letter U, ubiquitous, it's all through your body. However, there's a pathway that starts it off. And it starts it off in an area of the brain that releases a little chemical, CRH. And that chemical, if it is instigated to be released, will take 15 seconds to get to the area to kick off that pathway, that fight, flight. Oh, it's not just fight, flight. There's many responses. But Cannon, Sir Walter Cannon in the 20s, coined the phrase fight, flight. Selye, I always pronounce his name wrong, S-E-Y-L-E, Selye, he did the general adaptive syndrome, which has put it into 3 categories. Don't want to lose you here, the lay people. So the main thing to remember is that chemical will take 15 seconds to get to start that pathway off. So if you count to 10, hello, are we awake? If you count to 10, you actually inhibit that pathway potential. Yes, it's that simple. Now, other factors that can do that is breathing technique, where when we breathe in, we stimulate the body. When we breathe out, we relax it. So if you breathe out and be aware of it and breathe out a little bit longer. So inhale short, exhale. Now, if you did 3 of those, you'd almost get to the number 10 in count. So there is two simple things you can join together to help start preventing the body to maintain and jump into a fear response when it doesn't need to. Sure, there's instances in our life where we need to be in a stress response and a fearful response because we need to get away from danger. But it's not because we can't pay the bills. It's not because we're trying to run away from a lion or a tiger. It'll be because there's a long-term issue which needs to take rational thinking and logistics to solve it. So worrying about it in that split-second moment's not going to do any value whatsoever. All right, so that's the body, UV, the ubiquitous and universal aspect of mind and how we can nip those sustaining fears in the bud with simple techniques that need the hard work is the practice. It's the hard work. And the last one is the emotions. So the emotions for me comes in with the U word, understanding. So when we have a sense of understanding about anything, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's because someone doesn't like us or which is their business anyway. However, if there's a mechanism behind that, an understanding of it helps us to feel more of a sense of relief, or it potentiates that. The practice is in letting it assimilate or letting you grasp that understanding. So understanding assists with our emotions and our feelings. And in this day and age in 21, wow, I mean, there is promotion of discrimination, just like there was in the 1930s, so almost near on 100 years, so 80 years ago, a certain nationality was encouraged to dislike another certain nationality, and also people that had differences, whether they were different colours, different religions, etc., etc. Awareness, to be aware of our understanding about something. If you don't know something and you don't know where to research, you go to someone who's open-minded enough, conscientious enough, and eccentric enough, and agreeable enough, and minimal in their neuroticism. Anyone that studied psychology will understand there in the evaluation for personalities in the Minnesota Personality Index criteria. So when you go and find someone with that genuine ability to have an understanding of, if they know it, they know it. Otherwise, they will point you in the direction of research or someone else that'll know it. Then you are able to grasp a better understanding of, excuse me, sorry, I'm just going to wipe that off. Better understanding of how we can be better with our sense of feeling comfortable in who we are. We are a being of love and light. And that's not just an airy-fairy hippie thing. You know, in science, they know that the elements of atoms and the space and the electricity that's dispersed, you know, we're electricity. So summing up, UV for the body, ubiquitous, a universal, know your environment and be understanding, be compassionate, be loving. And above all, love always, even in a moment where you're not accepting it. Doesn't matter. You still have the essence of love. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are, and namaste. Love always. Thank you.